Hello and welcome to the Autodromo de Buenos Aires Oscar y Juan Galvez, where we have the sprint race for the Argentinian Grand Prix later on tomorrow. But now it's the sprint race, as I just said, and we have a great race in store for you today. This circuit that we're using for the sprint has two braking zones. I mean, technically three if you count the little accelerating. Now, it's two braking zones. One hard, two real main braking zones. Apart from that, completely flat out this circuit. Flat through 1, flat through 2, flat through 3. Don't brake until turn 4. Little lift through 5, then flat through 6. Then 7 is a braking zone. Then turn 8 is flat. Don't know why they end up braking. But, yeah, we have a great race in store for you today, as I've said. So let's go through your grid for this sprint race. This should be one of the quickest sprint races of all time. Probably the quickest sprint race of all time, if there's no safety cars. So let's just put that out there. At the back, huge shock for Yuki Tsunoda down in 20th. That's one of the championship contenders right at the back. Then we've got Liam Lawson in 19th. Surprised to have him down there after him having some decent races in the last few rounds. Vesti in 18th. His little run of good form is over after a win in Bahrain when he was at Mercedes, and then a 5th place 2 weeks ago. Last week at the US Grand Prix. He's down in 18th place. Then we've got Sainz, again a lower poor for qualifying from him after getting 2nd in qualifying in US. Of course, they're doing this sprint race though. 16th is Gasly, Behrman in 15th, huge shock for him considering where his championship rivals have qualified. Doohan 14th, I think it's safe to say his championship is now over. Verstappen 13th, Stroll 12th, Albon 11th, Piastri 10th, Drogovic 9th, Norris in 8th place, that is your championship leader. Paul Scher in 7th place, he had a big crash in qualifying yesterday afternoon, so thankfully is able to still race today. Russell in 6th, he is the highest of the championship contenders, and only 4 points behind Lando Norris. Leclerc in 5th place, Maloney 4th, a great qualifying for Sauber, of course, he was the one who got sprint pole 3 weeks ago at Bahrain. So that was it's another good result for him. And Antonelli, your winner last week at US, winning for the first time in his career. He's starting 3rd place. Hamilton in 2nd place. Great qualifying from him. But then Esteban Ocon is your sprint pole sitter. Of course, the sprint race in Spain where he won from pole. Can he repeat it here today in Argentina? Another Spanish-speaking country. So you never know. Maybe the Frenchman has a thing for the Spanish sprints. But yeah, 4 points separate Russell and Norris. So this will be a very tasty race indeed. We're about 30 seconds away from the formation lap getting underway. Anything else to say? Not really. Russell is on a great run of form, but well, I say great run of form. None of the championship contenders scored a point last week, apart from Piastri, who got the point from pole, and then Behrman, who got 1 point from from finishing 10th. So no one lost, but no one really gained either last week. So I mean, Doohan definitely did lose because I think he's basically out of the championship contention now, all but mathematically. So yeah, just the 5 championship contenders, maybe even Piastri's possibly out of it. I'm not too sure on that one. But anyway, they are underway for the formation lap now. Okay, what have I got? There we go. I have to turn the volume up a little bit. But this will be a great sprint race indeed. Let's go through some track facts. I can't really... That's all for this Grand Prix. I don't want to give them away. We're on the endurance there, which I believe is number 12. Yeah, 5.651 kilometers or 3.511 miles. It's got 8 turns, and the lap record is a 1:30.127, set by Juan Martin Trucco in a Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat in 2024, so last year, in a TC, is in Turismo Carretera, so this is the layout that they use for that. Lap record will be a lot less than that. These are much faster cars. Turismo Carretera is one of the most beautiful sounding, I think I pronounced that horribly wrong, but they are one of the most beautiful sounding cars in racing I've ever heard, so if you do want to watch that, do give it a watch. I haven't watched it this year, but it's, in all fairness, very difficult to watch here in the UK. You got to pay for some Spanish website that I'm not doing. So or the YouTube, which rarely shows it. But yeah, just watch it illegally. No, I'm joking. Watch stuff legally. I've always done that and never have watched anything illegally. Yeah, of course, the Grand Prix circuit tomorrow is on the main layout. I believe it's the one that F1 used to use. I think. Of course, we might even come back here in the future because MotoGP is coming here in 2027 on a brand new layout that's going to be built. And I'm pretty sure they're going to start construction soon after this race happens, so who knows. Yeah, they normally go to... Where is it? Termas de Rio Hondo, that's where they go. Of course, it's the first Argentinian Grand Prix. apart from 2023, since 1998. Of course, we came to the Anadara circuit in 2023, but unfortunately that race was not broadcast. We're hoping to bring a race at that circuit, which can be broadcast, but for now we cannot. Yeah, they're going very slowly down the front, down the back straight. Still haven't got to an actual braking zone yet. This is the first braking zone coming up on this whole circuit. Yeah, this is a very long formation lap, so I do apologise. But it's basically a parade lap now. They don't really do formation laps because you don't really see any tyre warming, do you? Wildcard for tomorrow. Well, starting off in FP2 later today, Franco Colapinto, he makes his return to Formula 1. He's already done 2 starts this year, which means he has just amount of races to be able to do a wildcard. If he did any more, he wouldn't be able to wildcard, but thankfully he can. So he will be racing at his home Grand Prix this year, and maybe even next year when we go to, what was it, Portores de Fun, is that how we pronounce it? That's where the Argentinian Grand Prix is next year. I think it's in May, so a lot earlier on in the year. But that should hopefully be a good race on the street circuit. Not often we get a street circuit in F1 Fantasy, so it's nice. We've got 3 next year. 4 if you count Daytona Beach and road course. And that is if the season actually goes ahead as planned. Anyway, the cars will line up on the grid. Oh, that was weird. And we will get going for the sprint race in Argentina. They will head towards, what's the corner called? Es del Ciervo. Can we have a decent angle, please? As the 5 lights will light up. Who will get the better getaway, Ocon or Hamilton? It's lights out, and away they go. Who is going to get the best launch? It's going to be Ocon by a massive amount. George Russell already up into 3rd place. Can he get into 2nd place? He'll try and go around the outside, but he won't. He'll back into 3rd place. Théo Pourchaire with a brilliant start. He's already up to 4th place from 7th. That's a brilliant start from the Frenchman as they're side by side going through turn 2. Now towards turn 3 down the Recta del Fondo. Who's going to have the lead? They're all slipstreaming. It's like a speedway circuit here. Russell will take the lead. Pourchaire goes wide into the gravel. That's an awful start from the Frenchman. He goes down right to the back of the field. That's Kimi Antonelli, by the way. Both Mercedes are there, so I've already lost track of which one's which. They're slipstreaming down the Recta del Lago towards turn 4. Chicana de Escari, the first braking zone of the track. They're 3 wide almost. Antonelli will have the inside line, so surely he'll have the lead. No, he won't. He backs out of it. His teammate will, though. Russell goes into the lead as debris all the way flying over the track, and someone's gone round. That's Théo Pourchaire again. His start goes from bad to worse. He goes off for the 2nd time in 1 lap as we now go towards the first major braking zone, turn 7, the Horquigler Parga, and there's a Ferrari spinning out there. That's Charles Leclerc, who obviously got caught up in something. He had no rear wing when I saw him. But it's been a big crash going through turn 7 as they go through turn 8 to start the 2nd lap. 18 laps this race is, by the way. So it should be over very quickly. As already mentioned, Ocon down the inside. He's back into lead. Which McLaren this is Oscar Piastri getting involved now. Russell down the inside through turn 2. And now they're slipstreaming again. That's a Tsunoda with no rear wing. That rear wing goes flying. No, that's Max Verstappen. Not Yuki Tsunoda. So now Verstappen with issues as well. As Antonelli will try and get into the lead past his teammate, the man who won a week ago. And now Ocon on the inside as well through turn 3. And I need to calm down a bit and stop shouting, but the 2 Mercedes drivers are side by side. Who's that in the Aston Martin? I believe it's Felipe Drugovich. Tsunoda's been going down. I think Tsunoda, oh no, not Tsunoda. It's just Leclerc who had to pit, I think. He hasn't had a chance to pit. He would have missed the pit lane entry, so he'll be miles behind everyone. And that's Leclerc's sprint race ruined. But it's Antonelli and Maloney now almost onto the grass. Both Saubers dropping down the field after a brilliant sprint qualifying yesterday. But it's Antonelli who still leads by a decent way made to his teammate. But this is Slipstream City, this circuit, as Piastri tries to get past George Russell. I don't know, that's into the pit coming Max Verstappen and a few more, I think, as well. I saw an Alpine coming in. Not sure if it was Doohan or Gasly. But into the pits they come. There's a huge bundle of cars coming in. I think an Aston Martin and maybe Drugovich and then a Haas of Berman. As you can see, Leclerc still in the pit lane, so he did actually make it to the pits. Thankfully for him. But it's Antonelli who leads George Russell, but he will have no one to slipstream, which means I'm sure he'll lose that lead into turn 3. Such a daring overtaking opportunity as Russell kicks up some grass there. You can see Pourchaire still in this battle as Leclerc has just come out of the pits. We'll get replays of the starts shortly, but this is being such a good race so far. Don't want to miss any of the action. In all fairness, we have to get replays at the end of it, at the end of the race, because I don't really see us being able to watch replays of how good the racing will be here. It's just like it's more like Yamaha racing, really, if you never watched that before. Yamaha R3 Cup, Super Sport 300 actually is a great example. That race at Jerez, I mentioned it in a commentary. A previous race, that last race at Jerez was amazing. The last ever Super Sport 300 race before they moved to Sport Bike next year. But it'll be Russell who leads. Someone kicked up grass there. It might have been Pourchaire, who's just trying to catch up to the pack behind. As the two Mercedes still side by side, and I believe it's Antonelli who takes the lead. But Russell will have the inside, and it will be Antonelli leading it, going towards the start of the next lap. And out of the pitch now comes Verstappen, so he's also out of it for this sprint race. He'll be a lap down, or he'll be a back marker, but I don't think he will get blue. No, he won't get blue flag, because of course that rule doesn't exist anymore. But he will probably get slipstreamed, and that is massively helping Kimi Antonelli. And they're on lap 4 of 18. The sprint race flying by. A Grand Prix on this track would probably take less than an hour, to be honest. Actually, I don't know. It's up there with Monza, the layout that they used in the 2023 Grand Prix. They wanted the oval and everything. That was a good race. But had a lot more braking, but it was a lot longer as well. It was 31 laps for a 10k circuit. As always, Aston Martin kicking up grass there. So who has actually ended up pitting? We'll get information in a second. As Verstappen will go a lap down, I think. Yeah, we go Russell down the inside. He's kind of getting in the way there. So Vesti, Gasly, Behrman. No, not Vesti. So Gasly, Behrman, Stroll, and Verstappen and Leclerc. So why am I still on? I've been on this whole race. It's gone to Russell. It goes down the inside on Verstappen. Antonelli versus Hamilton into turn 2. The man who won last week, of course, Kimi Antonelli, trying to go back-to-back. Mercedes, they've absolutely dominated Mercedes recently. They've won the last 3 races, including sprints. Of course, Russell won the sprint in Bahrain. Vesti, when he was facing Antonelli, won the Grand Prix in Bahrain. And then Antonelli, of course, won last week at the US Grand Prix. So can they continue their domination recently? They have absolutely been flying. But they're going to be 5 wide. Maloney back in this battle. You can see Pourchaire weaving around in the background, trying to gain a slipstream off of someone. As Hamilton will dive down the inside, and he will get the lead of the sprint. As goodness me, as a Sauber going flying there, as Pourchaire, as the pictures freeze, he absolutely goes flying through that chicane. He'll have to give all those positions back, I assume, which he does. But Hamilton versus Antonelli through the final corner, no, turn 7. As they go through the final corner now, turn 8, and Antonelli will have the inside line. That'll be a good run to the line, I think. We'll see. At the moment, it's the theme of the outside driver being in the lead over the line. So maybe whoever's having the inside line going down the inside into turn 7 will have the win. Who knows? But here we can see Verstappen there weaving around as Pourchaire very wide, and then Aston Martin also going onto the grass there. Pourchaire has been all over the place all weekend, really. Of course, he had a huge crash in sprint qualifying yesterday. As Antonelli almost getting checked up by Hamilton, that's going to put his teammate off as well. I'm sure Russell will overtake the young Italian, 19 years of age, as I said, Pourchaire into the grass again. They just look so slow going on that back straight, but it's such a long straight, and they're going like so fast. As Piastri gets past Ocon now. No, Norris gets past Ocon, sorry. Just be almost at the halfway point now. I think 3 laps, then we'll be halfway. As Russell gets past his teammate. And up into No, Antonelli stays in front of... Wait. No, Hamilton's leading. That's Verstappen. Okay. I didn't realise Verstappen was done lapped himself. I thought that was Verstappen further back, to be honest. But no, that's Yuki Tsunoda. It's Russell now all over the back of Lewis Hamilton. You get a slipstream that Hamilton doesn't, and both Mercedes might actually get past him here. Are they going to pincer him? No, they're not. And Antonelli could get past both of them here through turn 3, round the outside. No, he won't, as Russell now has the inside line going through the second part of turn 3. No, Hamilton will keep the lead. That's a very surprise. There's one of the McLarens there going on the grass. I think that was Lando Norris, the championship leader, currently being outscored by Russell, but not by much. He wants to beat George Russell if he has any chance of keeping the championship lead coming into the Grand Prix. Is Antonelli will go down the inside. Russell will also go down the inside. And is Russell going to take the lead? No, he's not. Antonelli will keep it as they go through the chicane. Kimi Antonelli doing a great job of trying to win 2 in a row. Of course, it's a sprint race, so it doesn't really count as a Grand Prix win. But you never know it. So you're on lap 7 of, what was it? 43. 18. There we go. Got there eventually. two Mercedes now are starting to have a little bit of a gap now between them and Piastri. I think that's Piastri is now Norris kicks up grass. No, that's Piastri who kicked up the grass. Sorry, it's now Lando Norris trying to get past George Russell. This put him into the lead of the race. That's huge for his sprint race. It's Antonelli who currently leads it. These three have a big gap, but I'm sure they'll lose it going down the back straight. Well, the slipstreaming is Antonelli gets into the grass. He's Berry onto the grass and Porsche on the grass again. He needs to start learning to drive. I mean, racing in Bahrain last week, I won't spoil how that went. He didn't race at the Mid-Ohio because he had last-minute wet commitments after taking over from Stoffel Van Dorn. So he was replaced by Bortoleto last week, which did not go to plan for the Brazilian yet again. He had a pit incident with, I think it was Colton Herta. No, it wasn't Colton Herta. Colton Herta was just a late comer into it. Of course, the wildcard driver for last week not having a great race either. Hopefully Colapinto can have a better one at his home Grand Prix tomorrow. Of course, qualifying and racing tomorrow, just as we normally do at the sprints now. With the extra F3-2 session having to be added because it's a completely different circuit. You can actually see part of the layout that we use tomorrow just in the background. I think that, yeah, that was part of the layout. But to go through turn 3 one more time, lap 9 of 18. At the end of this lap, we will be halfway. So it should be like a 26-minute sprint, so it isn't actually that short. But anyway, look how 6 cars, any of them could lead it, going into the next corner. You can see Verstappen, obviously on the better tyres. I don't know how much tyre wear he's be having. I feel like all the flat out corners will be quite high. As who will lead it? Coming out. Oh, Antonelli goes into the grass there. And he's going to lose a lot of time. Now, Antonelli completely at the back of this pack. So that's a huge shame for the Italian. That's massively dented his chance of winning. As Ocon now leads, the man who started on pole, he made contact with Piastri going through turn 7. Norris trying to make a little lunge as well. He's now in front of his championship rival George Russell. That's huge for his championship. As now they go towards the next corner, turn 1. And it's Piastri who leads. Ocon will have the inside line. Norris is trying to get past Lewis Hamilton. As he gets onto the grass there, does the Frenchman. As, oh, Porsche almost off again. He is all over the place. He's still able to catch up with the back of the pack though, so good on him for keeping the slipstream. As Ocon now in leads, the man who started on pole. He won the Spanish sprint race, as I already mentioned. But has had such an unfortunate season so far. Had a few podiums, but apart from the podiums he's had, he's never really scored. It's because of some unfortunate incidents he's been involved with. Of course, last week at the US Grand Prix, as Hamilton now will take the lead. No, he won't. It'll be George Russell. Oh, no, it will be. Oh, there's a Sauber. Porsche almost off the track there. And I think someone spun round. Is that Dragovic round? It's not, but he went onto the grass, I think. So Dragovic would have lost a bit of time there. No, I want to watch. Okay, we need to watch. Sorry. Yeah, Russell here is the lead. To be fair, we need to watch. We'll watch it. It's fine. So has Hamilton down to second place now. The whole pack is now basically caught up with each other. But Russell with a big prick about that all over the place. Like, if you haven't watched the Super Sport 300 race 2 at Jerez, and you have Discovery Plus, then go back and watch it, because it was a brilliant race to watch. Championship decider on the last corner, and it was absolutely crazy. So yeah, just go and watch that, and then compare it to this race. It's quite similar with the way the cars are acting as well. I feel like the Texas 305, or whatever the race ends up being called, next year will be a brilliant race. First time F1's racing at oval since 1960 at the Indy 500, well, apart from the 2023 Italian Grand Prix. But yeah, it'll be a great race to watch, as almost trying to lunge Lewis Hamilton. And always a spin there, almost for the far. There's a big pile up in the background there, and I think that was Oscar Piastri who got involved in it. And Sainz is into the wall, Porche's off, and there's a big crash going through the exit of turn 8. We'll get a replay of this, of course, after the race, because I don't want to miss any action. So I won't forget about that, don't you worry. But there's been a big off in the background through turn 8, and Carlos Sainz got damaged. I think Leclerc got damaged as well. And Oscar Piastri is now out of it, and we've got a 5-car battle for the lead now. Because one of the big main contenders is out of it. But it's George Russell who leads it from Ocon. Russell with a huge lead. And then we've got Norris. I think Jack Doohan. Yeah, Doohan's doing very well. So maybe if he gets some points, I still think his championship challenge is over. Ocon though in second place, Norris in third. Ocon won't really have a slipstream though. Russell has got a huge lead now, so Ocon will be a sitting duck down the back straight through the Recto del Lago. I think that's what it was called. Look at the gap now. Porsche is miles behind, and then Sainz obviously would have had to pit. Well, would have had to have pit because he had no rear wing. So we'll see why he also got rear-ended by someone who ended up spinning him round. It's Norris versus Gasly. Ocon has now been let loose to try and get past George Russell, who that lead he had has immediately been vanished. As he will try to go down inside, there's contact between the two of them. And will Ocon have the lead? No, he won't. On lap 12 of 13. There you go, you can see Carlos Sainz in the pit lane, so he will now be a lap down while they repair his rear wing. As Norris up to third place, Ocon all over the back of George Russell. See Maloney there just in the background. Porsche already has caught up quite a way. That is good for him. Is now Norris featuring the championship rival. I honestly think it'll be these two, the championship rivals, going into the final round of the season at the Sydney Super Night. But who knows? We've still got 4 races to go, including tomorrow's Grand Prix. As where on earth is Drogovic going? He got on the grass there a little bit. Slipstreaming a bit too much, losing control of the car, and it'll be Norris going down the inside. I think Norris to take the lead of the race. Yes, he will. As Hamilton gets onto the grass there, and Hamilton spun round. Now Hamilton's off, going through the chicane. We'll get another replay of that. I mean, we don't really need a replay. You can just rewind it if you want, but we will get a replay after the race. Norris down inside. Hamilton, another contender for this race win, has gone off, and he's spun round, going through the chicane, just like Piastri did a few laps ago. As we go now into lap 14, almost done with this race now. Very close to the finish line. As we go down the back straight. Well, there's a spin there in the background, a huge crash for Albon, and Porsche almost spun round as well. But that was a huge hit into the wall at turn 2 for Alexander Albon. Where is he? Here he is. That was a huge hit between him and Porsche. Going through turn 2, that's a big damage for Albon. Are we going to see a safety car or not? I'm not too sure. As Porsche goes into the grass. That was a huge hit. Could we see a potential red flag maybe? With not long to go. Of course, red flag rules the car stop on the track and just wait for the car to be cleared up. And we're still green so far. Hopefully they can get that car cleared with a crane relatively quickly. And no, red flag's out. Red flag here at the circuit in Buenos Aires. Autodromo Oscar y Juan Galvez. That was a huge hit for Albon. Enormous hit for the Thai driver. We'll wait to see news of him if he gets out of the car or not. Hopefully he is. Yeah, he's getting out of the car under his own power, I'm hearing, which is good to hear. But a collision between him and Porsche going through turn 2, and that was huge. The same place where Porsche had his own incident, quite similar, albeit by himself, in the sprint qualifying yesterday. But that was a huge accident for the Thai driver. I think it's the first time we've seen a red flag in a sprint race. Or did we see one? We might have saw one at Seattle in the sprint race there last year when Gasly had a huge crash through turn 2. But that was ginormous. Hopefully he is okay. Of course, he's gotten out of the car, which is good to hear. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, I think I will come back to you. I know we can get a replay of it because we already know he's out of the car. So let's see what happened to the London-born Thai driver in the Williams. Here we go, going through turn 1. And then through 2. Oh God, Porsche just drove into the back of him. But how is he driving into the back of him? It's a flat out corner. That's what I'm curious about. Let's go on board with Porsche and see what happened to him. Here he is. On board. So Porsche is right up behind him. Stays foot to the throttle. You can see a little lift as soon as he sees that Albon's lifted. But why did Albon must have had a huge moment going through turn 2, and then just ended up getting rear-ended by Porcher, who had absolutely no time to react. I don't think you can put the blame on Porcher there, because we've seen this is a very slipstream-based track, and he just brakes. I don't know why Albon braked. If he just stayed foot to the floor, it would have been completely fine. I don't think you can put blame there solely on how Porcher. I don't really see him getting a penalty for that. Let's go on board with Hamilton. Can he see it from here? I don't think you'll be able to get a great angle of it. I mean, you can see him going off into the wall. Let's see if we can get a rearward shot from Albon. There we go. So you can see Porcher right up behind him, and then he just brakes. I think, why is Albon braking there is what you gotta ask. I know Porcher should be more careful, but he has absolutely zero time to react there. I don't think you can put that on the Frenchman. This is not live. Let me get a quick pause. Let's watch through some other incidents while we get that cleared up. We got the incident at the start with Charles Leclerc. So let's see that one. We haven't actually been able to see what happened to him yet. So going through here towards turn 7, he just gets rear-ended by Stroll, which ended him spinning into the grass. Thankfully, it's not like a repeat of the Italian sprint race, where we had a Snowden and Hamilton bowling alley into the hairpin. And he actually, is that even legal to drive back into the pit lane like that? I'm not too sure. Let's go on board with him. I mean, it's a very weird move from him, to be completely honest. Could it be classed as moving under braking? Let's get on board with Stroll. I mean, he just brakes earlier and no one expects it from him. I don't really get why he's done that. But other people had damage, so Gasly was one of them. So let's go on board with the Frenchman. Just behind Stroll. So he must have hit the back of the Canadian. Let's see. Oh, he did. He's got completely caught up in it all. Who else was involved then? There was... No, Verstappen was later on. Sainz will watch what happened to him. Hamilton, we need to see what happened to him as well. Who else was? I'm sure there was one other person. Behrman, that's it. Ollie Behrman got involved in something. If it's not this, then that could have been what happened to Verstappen. Oh no, it was. You can see it here. Yeah, just into the back of Stroll. And that is Behrman's championship, unfortunately, unravelling as we speak. Who else was there? So let's see what happened to Verstappen then, because he got hit by someone. Going through turn 1. I think it was turn 1. I had a moment and got hit by Drogovic. So that was a very weird accident. I'm surprised he's lost his rear wing from that. So he has to brake to check up from everyone. Then Drogovic just kind of drives into him. But how did he lose his rear wing from that? I don't really get how physics works there. Let's see. They still are clearing the car, by the way. They are taking their time. They need to repair the tyre wall as well. I mean, it's just a coming together. I don't think anyone's going to be at fault for that. I think it's just an unfortunate racing incident in terms of that. You can see the rear wing going flying there. Let's see Sainz now, because he of course lost his rear wing in that incident at the exit of the chicane. Here we go. Be the lap after this one. Oh no, it's here. I thought we were going somewhere else then. But let's see. And there's of course that incident there, and then Porcher just driving into the back of him. I mean, so that's the second incident where Porcher has driven into the back of someone. The first one I wouldn't say is his fault. That is under investigation, by the way. Albon and Porcher for causing a collision. But I mean, it's unfortunate, but let's get on board a Porcher and see from his point of view. Did he have any time to react? I'm not too sure. Again, he's right at the rear of Carlos Sainz, and then, I mean, if you're Porsche, look at his throttle application. Maybe, I mean, he's right behind Sainz in his defence. He can't really see what's going on until the last second, so, I don't know. Again, I think that's just an unfortunate incident, though. He just can't see what's happening. Let's actually see what caused that whole pile-up, then. Going through the exit of the chicane. So Piastri just gets a bit wide onto the grass, loses a car, hits Sonoda, and then everyone just kind of gets checked off. Then we see Sainz and Porsche coming together. Now the last replay I want to watch is Lewis Hamilton, who also had a moment going through the chicane a few laps later. I think it's already happened. No, it hasn't. It might have been this lap though. We'll go on board with him. Oh yeah, just before Albon and Porsche had their incident, so. Let's see. And just goes wide again, just like Piastri. Then he actually hit the back of Doohan. So thankfully for both of them, neither of them have any damage. But anyway, let's get back live. We're about a minute behind, so let's get back live. Well, not back live, but you know what I mean. As you see, Albon having his off. Back to where they currently are, which is under red flag conditions. It's 1947. There we go. Let's go back to the leaders. Lando Norris, the one who leads. They'll be straight into turn 7 when they get back to it. They just got, of course, stop on track, and then once the red flag's cleared, we'll be back. So yeah, I'll go for a quick break, and when I'll be back, they should have hopefully cleared Albon's crash, and we can get back to some racing. Hello and welcome back to the Autodromo Oscar y Juan Galvez, named after, of course, the two brothers, who I've never heard of before today. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty obvious it would be named by after someone. But yeah, red flags are about to be cleared shortly. We've got about 10 seconds until they clear, and then we can get back to green flag racing and finish off this sprint race. It'll be 4 to go as they cross the line. This will be a good one. So let's get into it. Into turn 7. It will be Russell who keeps the race lead. Need to be on your toes as soon as they go back to green flag, and we are. So it is Russell who leads Norris, the two championship contenders going 1-2. Piastri, who's an outsider really in the championship, he'll try and go down inside of his teammate. Will it move work? Papaya rules in full force, but Piastri gets in front of his teammate, and now Ocon's all the back of him. There's contact. Papaya rules won't like that as they almost make the bang wheels through turn 2, and Norris keeps his second place. And now Piastri has Doohan and Ocon just behind him. Side by side of him, actually, either side, and Ocon gets in front of him, and so does Doohan. So that bit of contact between the two McLarens has massively cost Piastri, but he's going to fight back past both of the Frenchmen, the former Alpine teammates, and Piastri will try and slipstream off his teammate, I think. But look, Russell and Norris will be side by side as we go towards turn, what's it called? And, oh, Ocon, this is a new camera angle. This is nice. But Norris leads from Russell, from Ocon, and now Piastri and Doohan as well, side by side. And then through turn 7, it'll be Piastri in third place. Both McLarens either side of George Russell, but I'm assuming it won't be for long. There is a pretty big gap between Russell and Norris, but the slipstream is very strong of these cars, so you never know. With 3 laps to go, I think this is anyone's race really, maybe in the top 5, I don't know, because Lawson is actually qualified down in 19th. Unless that's Carlos Sainz a lap down, I haven't noticed, is doing very well. But Piastri trying to get past around the outside through turn 3. Russell will try and make a move down the inside through turn 3. It is Liam Lawson in the RRB as a big bit of dust kicked up there from, who was it? I don't know, I can't remember. But the Porticher's already caught up to the back of the pack, which is decent. He's now right by his teammate, Maloney. He started 4th, went into the grass and lost a lot of time early on. But it's Piastri now who leads Lando Norris, as George Russell falls down to 3rd place. And they need to start practicing their moves into the final corner, because it might be one of them who has to make a move for the lead into the final corner of the last lap. As we go on to start lap 17, once they cross the line, it'll be 2 to go as they start their penultimate lap. And it's Norris who leads it, and they've got a pretty big gap. That's good practice for him. He needs to do it, 2 more times to keep that lead. But he probably won't, because the slipstream, as I've said previously, is huge. But 2 to go as they go through 1 and 2, flat out, foot to the floor, unless the name's Albon, and he gets set into the tyre barrier. But Piastri in 2nd place now, Russell in 3rd. Ocon in 4th, a big kick up there for Doohan, getting bounced on the grass there, and the pack behind Norris is huge. Back about 6 cars, battle for 2nd place, and Tsunoda at the back of it. He started right at the back of this grid, so that is great for his championship as they're bump drafting each other down the Recto del Lago towards the chicane at De Ascari, turn 4, the first braking zone, and Ocon will go down inside on Piastri, and Doohan as well as Tsunoda goes off. Did he lose his front wing there actually? I don't think he did. No, he didn't. We lost a lot of time if they go through to start the final lap. The two Saubers doing very well. They've got up to 9th and 10th. So they must have gained a lot of positions in that lap. Actually, I think, in all fairness, they were there anyway. They just got up to the back of this pack. But Russell in 4th place. It's still Norris who leads Ocon, who leads Piastri. The white flag is out. We have 1 lap to go here at Buenos Aires. And Ocon will try and dive down inside. It's not going to work. And that will let Piastri pass as Lawson trying to pass Doohan. The 2 rookies. Actually, Lawson's not a rookie anymore, is he? But this is the battle for the lead into turn 3. Ocon will try and send it. Piastri will try and send it. Ocon down inside into turn 3. And when he get the lead, it's not going to mark out though, because he went up the slipstream towards turn 4 and even turn 7 maybe as he gets onto a curb and bounces up as well. There's a lot of bouncy grass in this circuit. There's a huge wobble for Piastri. That will lose him so much time out the exit of 3. As now there's a huge battle as well as Antonelli almost gets pushed off, I think, by Porcher going through down the Recto del Lago for the final time, and to turn 4 for the final time. Russell dived down the inside. He'll have the lead as they go through the next part of the chicane through turn 5 and 6. The two McLarens bagging each other. Porcher from out of absolutely nowhere into P5 now, as Russell trying to fend off Ocon. Will Ocon go round the outside through 7? He's going to try it, and he'll have the lead of the race. Porcher sends it down inside on both McLarens, and Porcher out of nowhere will get 3rd place, I think. Side by side, who's going to get it? Ocon wins the sprint race. There's contact over the line, but Ocon, for the 2nd time this year, is a sprint race winner. And what a drive that was from Terry Porcher to get into 3rd place. I think 8th place on the final lap. I want to watch that last lap again from Porcher, because that was absolutely incredible. But Ocon's the one who's going to win it, and that is one of the races of all time. I think it's one of the best sprint races I've ever seen. Just a Grand Prix here on this layout would be amazing. Don't know how much it'll work though, because like tyre wear would be awful. But yeah, of course we've got the Grand Prix tomorrow on a shorter track. I mean, it's the main track. Not normal. It's not normal that we see a shorter track, a longer track hold the sprint race. Of course, the lap time on this bigger circuit is a lot quicker than the shorter one. That's a lot more twisty and a lot less flat out. But boy, what a race we had there. Whew, that was amazing in terms of racing on track. Absolutely fantastic. We'll get a replay now of Porcher's final lap, because that was incredible. To get up to 3rd place, where was he going into the final lap? Well, he's P5 here. No, P9, sorry. He's not even in the points, like, starting the final lap. He's in P9, his teammate's just behind him in P10. And let's just see. I think his teammate that actually on the inside. It could have been Zane Maloney. As they go to start the next lap, he's got Tsunoda just in front of him, and then also Antonelli in 7th place. Let's see, foot to the floor, barely lifts a little bit. I think that's because the slipstream is so strong. He actually ends up going to the back of Kimi Antonelli, because of Antonelli just getting caught up by everyone. And 3 wide, he's not going to make a move through 3. Almost hits the back of Antonelli again, going through turn 3. He's still in P9 here. So he's made 6 positions up in about 3-4 corners. It's now down the Recto del Lago. Doesn't even push Antonelli off. Antonelli just goes off by himself. So that's 1 position. They're 3 wide in front of him. A literal blockade with Lawson, Doohan and Tsunoda. He bumped draft Tsunoda to get him out of the way. And then he goes down the inside. That is brilliant racecraft by Terry Porcher. And if you want to see it next year, Sauber might want to keep him on, because this has been some brilliant driving. I know he's been off all over the track so far this race, but what a last lap he's having. Then absolutely send it down the inside on both McLarens. Past Piastri, past Norris, hits the back of Russell, pushes Russell through turn 7. I'm surprised Russell didn't win the race with that move. But it was Ocon with the inside line, the shorter distance to the line, and actually goes right into the back of Ocon. I thought I heard a collision in the final corner. Ocon just brakes on the line for some reason. But what in drive that was from Porcher. So anyway, oh, that is loud. Let me quickly pause that. Let's go through your results then. Of course, Albon with that huge crash that caused the red flag on lap 14, so didn't lose that much of a race time, but unfortunately that's going to be a huge repair job for Williams to get him out for even FP2, maybe not even qualifying tomorrow, who knows. But of course we saw Leclerc have that weird incident going through the final corner on the opening lap, then Sainz also lost his rear wing, getting collected by Porcher in that pile-up in the chicane. Verstappen, he just lost his rear wing, getting driven into by Drugovich for an incident there, and we also had Gasly, Stroll and Behrman having to pit for a new front wing on the opening lap. Well, actually it was lap 2, because they did it before the pit lane. And then we got Hamilton who spun round, Drugovich and Vesti, Maloney and Antonelli, your final non-scorers. Then the scorers in this race, Lawson, he's doing well after that appalling European season full of incidents. He ends up in 8th place. Doohan gets 2 points, good for him. Tsunoda as well, 3 points. I mean, it's not going to close up on anyone in front of him, because the championship contenders have all finished in front of him, apart from Behrman. Piastri 5th, that's some good points from him as well. Norris in 4th, Porcher in 3rd, Russell in 2nd, and Ocon is your winner for the sprint race. It's good for Haas in terms of constructor championship points. I think they've been really poor last few races. Norris will get 4 points, 5 points. Russell with 6, so that closes the gap to 2 points Norris has over George Russell going into the Grand Prix. Of course, Behrman didn't score any, and there's not really going to be many more gains, apart from if Tsunoda will gain a few points. But I think, unless one of either Tsunoda, Piastri, or Behrman has an absolute flyer in the Grand Prix tomorrow, I think it'll be Russell versus Norris going into the final round in Sydney. Of course, we've got Brazil and New Zealand before that, so anything could happen really, but who knows. We'll be back tomorrow to get you your times for qualifying and for the race. Let's see. Qualifying is at 2 p.m. UK time, and the Grand Prix is at 6 p.m. UK time. So, what else we got? Local time, that's it. It is a 3 p.m. lights out, I believe, and then 11 a.m. I think that's right. I might be wrong, local time, so don't count me on that. But we'll see you tomorrow for those sessions. Goodbye.